I'm bored. Let's play a game. Let's see, who's on here, the roster today? Recommended, role-playing, top free games. Well, I guess if they're popular, they gotta be good, right? Hungry Shark, Color Switch, Clash Royale, Stack, Subway Riders, 8-Ball Pool, Disney, Crossy Road, Candy Crush, Jelly Saga, Snake, these are horrible! These are the worst games ever! Mobile Strike, it's got an army guy on the cover. I mean, how bad could it really be? Let's take a look. What is this here? Oh, it's the new Arnold Schwarzenegger Clash of Clans clone. Everybody's favorite. What do the reviews say? Boring, complicated, too many ads. Well, I mean, how popular could it be? 10 million downloads? 10 million. Hey there, Uniwarriors. EnnuiGoblin here. If you're like me and you love games like Uniwar, then you expect a certain level of quality and depth in the games you take the time to play. And if you're also like me, you are probably fed up with the never-ending torrent of crappy games that the mobile market continues to pump out. It seems as if all these developers do is squat and take a big poop of steaming pile of game day after day after day. So if you've ever felt frustrated about what game you might want to play on your phone, don't worry, EnnuiGoblin's got you covered, because this is a look at EnnuiGoblin's secret stash. Ninth Dawn 2, Remnants of Caspartia. Now, if you love Castlevania and you love Skyrim, be prepared to enjoy the hell out of this game, because it's really the closest thing I've ever seen to a combination of those two. There's so much to explore and see and do and find in this game. There's loot everywhere. The characters themselves are made out of animated sprites, but that never really seems to bother me in this game. The story itself isn't quite that exciting, but it was never really about the story for this game. This is a game about exploration. The world is much larger. I enjoyed the first game a lot, and they introduced some new mechanics to this game that really make it shine. And I felt like there was an overall higher level of polish in this game ever since the new edition came out. The developers also, they listen to their fans, they do a lot of updated new content, so by the time you finish this game up, there will be a chance for you to go and play it a completely different way all over again. You could easily pump in I wouldn't say almost as much time as if you were to play Skyrim, but pretty darn close. The combat gets very fun as you get later towards the mid and late game as well. They do a lot of stuff to keep it fresh. They make sure that you always feel good about finding the next piece of loot and taking down that next big boss, and the dungeons are filled with puzzles. There are Easter eggs. There's hidden treasure chests all over the globe. The developers also understand they love to reward the players who search the hardest for the best stuff, because the best stuff is always hidden away deep inside this game. So you'll have to use your brain, and your reaction and your fingers will get quite a workout. I highly recommend you take a look at either of the Ninth Dawn series, but honestly, start with Ninth Dawn 2. I think it was the better game overall. Templar Battleforce. Now, some of you might have played the Treese Brothers games before. I had a couple of titles from them that I really enjoyed. Heroes of Steel, their Space Traders series. I know that I forget the name of it, but they did another one that was like some crazy Matrix-style cyberpunk game. And this particular game is their latest one, and let me tell you, I think it is the culmination of all the different games that they've put together, built into one awesome turn-based action package. The game is really well crafted. It's built around very fun tactical missions. You control a squad. There's all sorts of different ways to upgrade. They have awesome tech trees for you to go through. The missions have cool boss fights. There are different choices you can make. There's a great story. I love the mechanics, the shooting, the melee characters, having support characters, all sorts of different monsters, different scenarios you have to fight. I mean, it's one of those games I played it to completion and then immediately started it over again so that I could play it with a different run-through and try different tactics and see what different types of upgrades could I use. And there were just so many different items and ways to approach this game. I really enjoyed going through all the different tactical. And I mean, like, it's just the perfect game for somebody who's looking to sit back and relax and not have to use 100% of their brain processing power at every waking second, but still feel like there's a challenge and a reason to move on and a reason to get to the next level. Yeah, this was a great game, and I've immensely enjoyed it. Definitely check out Templar Battleforce. Tales of Illyria. You know, I never knew I wanted the game The Oregon Trail to be set in a fantasy realm until somebody gave me this series of games. This is some of the most unique RPGs I've ever played in any medium whatsoever. It's got that same familiar style from the Oregon Trail where you set a destination and then your party travels there on auto travel and random events happen to you along the way. And it's the random events that really make this game stand out. There are so many different things that can happen to you while you're out there in the wild wilderness fighting goblins or all sorts of magical creatures, or in fantastical cities taking on all sorts of quests. But I mean, they create a great sense of isolationism when you're out there with just your party alone in the wilderness, and it really gives you this sense that just anything can happen. There's so many different types of unique events that occur. It could be anything from saving a peasant off the side of the road, or meeting a prince who's in hiding on his way to, handle some intrigue. Or it could be anything from, like, getting raided by goblins to your horse breaks his legs. You don't know what's going to happen next, and they keep you guessing the whole way. I really love this series. There's 3 of the games in the series, so there's quite a lot of content to play through. I highly recommend that you start with Fallen Knight and then move on to the other 2. Definitely give these series a try, though. I really enjoyed them. I'm not sure if it's available on the App Store, but it is on Google Play. Rusted Warfare. Now, this is a game I just recently picked up, so I haven't had a chance to really test the full depth of the mechanics, but let me tell you, from what I have played, I've seen a lot of mobile games try to use the RTS platform and fail miserably, and this game is not that. This game was really, really well designed. It required me to think on my feet, group my units, think ahead about how I would build things and why I would build them, coordinate my attacks. I really enjoyed it. I've been playing through the single-player campaign here and there on this game. I tried the multiplayer a little bit. It is fun to play multiplayer, but it's really only kind of designed for you to play mostly with people you know. There isn't really any rank system or anything like that, but still, well done, and I really enjoyed this game. Definitely give it a chance. It's definitely one of the best RTSs I've played on the mobile scene yet. Necromancer. Now, I'm not really the biggest fan of card games on my phone. Sometimes I play poker. I played a little bit of Hearthstone. I tried the Magic the Gathering, and it was awful. But this is one of my favorite card games on the mobile market, and for a very good reason. It's not just a card game, but it's a card game wrapped in a really, really fun RPG. It's not really so much exploratory, it's mostly about the fighting, but I loved going around. There were so many missions to complete, and loved going and hunting down the boss fights and taking their cards from them. One of the things I loved about this game is you defeat new enemies, you get new cards, and new cards bring new mechanics, so it means new ways to fight. And each time you face a new type of enemies in new sections of the game, they fight in different ways, which requires you to use different cards to try and change your strategy up. It's really, really, really cool, and it keeps from getting stale by adding new mechanics constantly to the game. I think every time I fought a new enemy, they brought cards with new mechanics, and it seems like it could be repetitive, but it's really not. I never ever felt myself getting tired like I was grinding through anything. Grinding, I don't think it was that big a problem. They do require you to do a couple of missions over again to get some units. I mean, they have a system where you can pay to skip some of that, but I never minded really going through and just defeating the enemies to get to the end of the game. I highly recommend this one, and give it a chance. Arcane Quest 2. I love the Arcane Quest series. This was my personal favorite. A lot of people think that Arcane Quest 1 and the Ultimate Edition were the better games. That's neither here nor there. It may not come to surprise to any of you that I am a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan. And if you've ever yearned to just go back and do that old school pen and paper style of going on a pre-diagrammed map and fighting enemies in a Dungeons and Dragons style dungeon, this is the game for you. It's got all right down to the dice mechanics. It's got all sorts of weaponry to go through. It seems basic, but once again, this is just like Dungeons & Dragons, it requires a little bit of imagination to get the full effect out of it. And that's what I like about this game. I really enjoy the mechanics. It seems like it's easy at first, but I think the difficulty spikes once you get through the tutorial missions. And then the thing I loved about Arcane Quest 2 is that there are also user-submitted missions, and there's all sorts of content for you to play through on this game. I never felt like, oh man, I'm getting towards the end, I guess it's time for me to turn the chapter. As soon as I got to the point where I played through all the standard missions, I'm like, wow, there's so much online content for me to play through. Now is also a really good time to pick up this series and get acquainted with it, because the Arcane Quest 3 is now in alpha. It's available to play on alpha and is soon to get released. I think sometime in the next couple of months Arcane Quest 3 is going to be out, and it's going to be a major upgrade. These sprites are all going to be 3D diagrammed. It's going to get a huge big facelift, but the game mechanics are supposed to stay the same, and that's what I'm really excited about. Take these game mechanics and add 3D graphics and you have a winning recipe. So I'm really excited about the Arcane Quest 3. Definitely check out Arcane Quest 2 and jump on the bandwagon now. Sorcery. Oh man, sorcery. If you're the kind of player who, the reason you love to play RPGs and video games is you love to be told a fantastic story, this is the game for you. This is one of the most fun I've ever had playing a text-based RPG on the phone. There are a lot of text-based RPGs, but this, to me, is by far the best one. I believe there's 3 games in the series. The first one has you exploring the wilderness, and then the second one has you exploring a big city. I don't remember if I played the third one or not. But the choices here, there's so many different ways to play. It's like one of those choose-your-own adventures where you feel invested and you get more control over what you're going to do and how you approach it. The spells are always fun. I love the spell system. Whenever I cast a spell, you never know what's going to happen next. Literally anything could happen after the spell. Some of the stories get just downright ridiculous, and in a fun but still fantastic way. It's based off the legendary Steve Jackson game, and the combat system is also fun to go through. There really wasn't any part of this game where I'm like, oh, I wish I could get to the fun part. The whole game is the fun part. The drawings are iconic. They've got that really like that whole early 90s, late 80s pen and pencil style, and just every time I see this game, I get a big smile on my face. Definitely check out Sorcery. Battleheart Legacy. Oh my gosh, never has grinding my way through enemy after enemy to get to the next level been so much fun. It would seem like this game is boring and simple because all you really do is go and fight the next enemy. There's really not much to it else other than that. There isn't any story here, it's just a grind fest. But it's the most fun I've ever had doing a grind fest. There are so many ways to approach these enemies, so many different dungeons to check out, so many different enemies to fight, so many different spells you can use. And one of the things I loved about this game is there isn't really any restriction on what kind of class you want. If you get bored at any point of the game, you don't have to restart the game from the beginning to say, okay, well now I want to play it as a rogue, but I'm already, a third of the way through, so I'm stuck with magic. No, screw it. I don't want to be a magician anymore. I'll go be an archer. I don't want to be an archer anymore. I'll go be a monk. I don't want to be a monk anymore. I'll go become a berserker. You just pick up any one of the classes at any point and start grinding your way to victory. It never stops being fun. I loved Battleheart Legacy. I played this game to exhaustion. And some of the dungeons are really, really hard, and you have to grind a lot to get through them. And it is so satisfying when you finally beat that big-ass boss who keeps killing you 30, 40, 50 god-dang times. So yeah, Battleheart Legacy, definitely give this one a try. It kept me entertained for hours on end. Hey guys, so that's all for now. I had a lot of fun making this list. I definitely would like to make some more feature videos like this sometime in the future or whenever I feel like having a little bit of fun with it. I also thought another fun idea would be to take some of these games from these lists and do like a Let's Play series here and there just to check some of them out. So let me know what you guys think. If there's any games that you're playing that you think would be fun to check out, let me know in the comments section below. Until then, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is EnnuiGoblin signing off.